Hey, drop the fucking knife! Drop the knife! Drop the...
Hey adrenaline junkies, welcome to Police Chase. Today we're kicking off a brand new series, When People Messed with the Wrong Cops, where every dumb move instantly triggers justice mode. Alright, let's dive in.
Rick out.
Lee County, Florida, November 27th, 2025. Around 3:39 a.m., an FHP trooper attempted to stop a Toyota Camry traveling nearly 100 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone on Daniels Parkway. The driver accelerated, ran a red light at Gateway Boulevard, and fled at speeds exceeding 110 miles per hour. The vehicle continued through multiple intersections and at one point traveled the wrong way on SR 82, creating a danger to other motorists. Troopers conducted a pay-team maneuver and, after several collisions, successfully stopped the vehicle around 3:45 a.m. 3 patrol vehicles were damaged and no serious injuries were reported. The driver, Vladimir Domingo Lopez, 21, showed signs of impairment. Breath tests registered 0.135 and 0.134, nearly twice the legal limit of 0.08, and he was taken into custody.
Get the fuck in the car!
April 18th, 2026, North Little Rock, Arkansas. Just before 4 a.m., Officer Jackson Shoemate spotted a blue Toyota Corolla traveling down Broadway and Poplar. It was pitch dark, and its lights were off. He signaled it to stop. The driver ignored the stop signal. Corolla sped through the side streets, then accelerated onto I-30 heading west. Sirens blared, no compliance. Exceeding 80 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone, the headless vehicle glided through traffic, nearly invisible, a growing hazard.
We're coming up to 140 and 630 split on. We're keeping left.
Orthodox speed or 96, 30 westbound, number 2 lane. TBI.
TBI before 6:30.
Shoemate made a decision. A pit maneuver sent the Corolla crashing into a barrier, but the driver didn't stop. She turned back toward him, swerved, and slowed down after another collision. Moments later, a North Little Rock fire truck caught the vehicle and ended the accident.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up!
The driver, Kiana Taylor, has been arrested. Passenger Raquel West was safely disembarked. Taylor appeared visibly intoxicated and had a breath alcohol level of 0.10.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. Hands up.
Stand up with your hands up. Face me. Keep your hands up. Walk towards me. Walk towards me. Keep walking.
She faces multiple charges, including fleeing the scene of a crime, driving under the influence, failing to turn on her headlights, and ending a dangerous chase before dawn.
Good. Here, I'll get online with y'all. I think that was it, yeah.
The chase began on Interstate 10 in Escambia County, Florida, after the Alabama Highway Patrol alerted Florida authorities about a speeding car crossing state borders. The driver likely thought changing states would shake law enforcement, but they were wrong. As the pursuit escalated, officers skillfully executed a flawless pété maneuver, forcing the vehicle to a screeching halt. A perfect pété is like landing a strike in bowling, except this time, it's the suspect's pride that hits the pavement. Fortunately, no one was injured during the chase, and the driver was swiftly taken into custody. Now facing charges for fleeing and eluding in both Alabama and Florida, along with multiple traffic violations, this incident serves as a clear warning. Mixing reckless behavior with overconfidence and adrenaline rarely ends well. It looked like a Hollywood car chase, but this was real. On February 21st, 2024, in Escambia County, Florida, police and helicopters pursued a Wisconsin-plated Audi convertible in a wild, high-speed chase that left even veteran officers stunned.
Get back in. Get back in.
The driver blew through red lights, took sharp turns at over 100 miles per hour, and nearly caused several crashes. When he swerved into oncoming traffic on Molino Road, officers held back and relied on aerial tracking. Public safety in jeopardy, police executed a precision pit maneuver, flipping the Audi through the air like a stunt gone wrong. Miraculously, 24-year-old Patton Guat walked away unharmed, but his luck ended there. He was arrested at the scene and now faces multiple charges, including reckless driving and fleeing police.
Get on the ground! Hey, on the street, please. Get up in there.
A high-octane reminder, one reckless move can turn any road into a war zone. January 2nd, 2023. Around 11:03 a.m., Arkansas officers attempted to stop a stolen Lexus RX, but the driver immediately sped away, launching a dangerous pursuit through busy traffic. Dashcam footage captured speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, at times reaching 113 miles per hour, as the Lexus weaved recklessly between trucks, cut through traffic, and crossed into oncoming lanes. Officers Richard Surrett and Marshall Hill stayed close behind as the chase intensified. On a quieter stretch of road, the driver suddenly slammed on the brakes and swerved onto the grass in an attempt to lose police. Surrett reacted quickly, and as the Lexus returned to the pavement, executed a pit maneuver that spun the SUV 180 degrees and sent it crashing into a roadside ditch.
Still rolling, back on the road. I'm gonna try to pit. Roll over, you have.
The officers rushed in with their weapons drawn and apprehended the female driver. In tears, she claimed her husband had forced her to flee with a gun. Investigators quickly discovered that there was no man, no gun, and the Lexus had actually been stolen.
That's what I thought.
Get her information for me, Scott.
While on patrol, a BOL was issued for a gold Jeep linked to retail fraud and a felonious assault after it repeatedly rammed Utica police vehicles during a pursuit. After Utica police terminated the chase, the suspect vehicle was spotted eastbound on 32 Mile Road. An officer turned to follow as the Jeep began driving aggressively into oncoming lanes. Lights and sirens were activated, but the driver fled. The suspect, later identified as Joseph Lee Jackson, was arrested for fleeing, resisting, and driving on a suspended license. On February 3rd, 2025, Fairfax County Police responded to a false report from a caller claiming he had killed 2 people in Fair Lakes. The caller was later identified as a 16-year-old male. officers were investigating, the teen suddenly ran at an officer and stabbed him once in the upper body. He was quickly taken into custody. The 6-year veteran officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries and has since been released. The suspect now faces charges of malicious wounding and remains in custody. This case raises a difficult question. What leads a 16-year-old to violent behavior like this? Family environment, social influence, or missed warning signs? What do you think could have been done earlier to prevent it? On April 28, 2022, William Morris Jr. sparked a dangerous chase after refusing to stop for deputies. The pursuit quickly escalated as he swerved past road crews, sped through a school bus stop with children present, and narrowly avoided a patrol vehicle.
Down stop here in front of the front door. Over your hand!
After his arrest, deputies found cocaine, a glass pipe, and drug paraphernalia. In February 2023, a jury convicted Morris on most charges, and he was sentenced to 10 years in Georgia State Prison with no probation or parole. On July 6, 2024, around 10 p.m., Trooper Calvert joined a pursuit launched by North Little Rock Police involving a red Chevrolet pickup near East Broadway and swiftly took over the primary role.
Still front tire, so it's kind of hard to spin it, but doing about 40 miles an hour, light traffic. 40, yeah, 45. So if you're turning south from the Broadway Bridge, taking 55 to the TVI to that wall. Oh, it's just
The suspect kept heading westbound at roughly 40 miles per hour. 2 TVI attempts along East Broadway followed but failed, allowing the vehicle to continue fleeing onward.
I don't get that.
The chase crossed the Broadway Bridge, where Sergeant Gabe Monroe executed a successful TVI, sending the truck into a concrete barrier. The driver, Wendell Jackson, was safely removed and placed into custody. November 12, 2024, ASP Trooper David Whipple was working a crash on I-440 when he spotted a driver texting near a construction zone. He flagged the car down, unaware the driver carried active felony warrants.
He was throwing bags out the window about 2 miles back.
Lewis continued driving at a high rate of speed until he lost control at the intersection of...
As officers moved in, 31-year-old Michael Lewis tried to escape through the passenger window, blocked by bushes and smoke. He was quickly detained and cuffed.
You're a dumbass, you know that?
Close home.
I think we're going to put your car.
Alright.
We're that. You driving like that, we're at. Yeah. We're only shooting for a risk out here. Shut up, dude. Lean across the car.
A search uncovered $2,100 in cash, 40 oxycodone pills, marijuana, a digital scale, and open alcohol, turning a simple stop into a long list of charges.
Chasing. We're chasing you for no reason. Why you running? What's that? My thing made it fool. Yeah, that's your name on it. Hey, buddy, you want to look right there and say they got me? I'll keep doing it.
On October 4th, 2021, at around 2:20 p.m., tension filled a Petersburg, Virginia neighborhood as police responded to an alarming call. Lieutenant Jason Sharp and Officer Jonai Jackson arrived at the home of William Antonio Scott after reports claimed he was armed and roaming the streets.
Petersburg police, come out with your hands up! Come out with your hands up.
When officers approached, Jackson ordered Scott to step outside with his hands raised. Instead, Scott descended the porch steps, shouting defiantly, "Get off my property!" his anger fueling an already volatile scene.
Come take him. Come lock him up. I'll keep doing it. Let's cuff on him.
In that charged moment, Sharp deployed his taser. Electricity cracked through the air, dropping Scott to the ground. Yet moments later, he stirred, attempting to rise again.
Who else is in the house?
Sharp fired a second time, another surge of current jolting the silence. This time, the resistance faded. Scott finally complied, placing his hands behind his back as officers moved in to secure him.
His name and information.
Sure, sharp like a knife.
Months later, retired Judge James S. Yaffe cleared Sharp of assault and false reporting charges. The case underscored a sobering truth for law enforcement. Every use of force, even non-lethal, is measured not only in its effect, but in the judgment that follows. Lansing, Michigan. On the afternoon of April 9th, 2025, around 4:30 p.m., Livingston County deputies spotted a stolen BMW X5 speeding eastbound on I-96 near Latson Road.
Traffic at 1636. Can you get traffic conditions, please?
The stop signal was activated, but instead of complying, the SUV accelerated, triggering a frantic chase. At speeds exceeding 120 miles per hour, it weaved through traffic, striking at least 6 vehicles, turning the highway into chaos.
Going westbound, that kind of thing. About 3 clear down this comes 5049. Preparation. Rear-ended vehicle, black edge. Rear-ended black edge. Right shoulder, rear-ended. We're still continuing westbound.
Amid the escalating pressure, a gun was flung from the vehicle onto the highway, tumbling between lanes. Moments later, another firearm was discarded in a desperate attempt to ditch evidence mid-pursuit.
Right into westbound on-ramp. Clear for braking. Rear-ended white truck. Rear-ended white truck, 50.7.
Units, be advised, I'm on with Ingham right now. They're trying to get you fixed. They said this vehicle was involved in a retail fraud out of Dix and Oakland earlier.
Off on the shoulder, Fowlerville. Trying to get back on the expressway. You're back on the expressway.
Yeah, we're up on the shoulder now, back on the expressway as you get to the car.
Looks like we're accident off at 104. Exit 104, getting off.
Anything at 104, getting off at 1706.
The chase spilled off the highway into city streets, then the inevitable end. The BMW slammed head-on into another vehicle at a red light at Jolly Road and Cedar Street. The violent crash ended the run, leaving a trail of destruction.
Failing 1708.
Just head on the car, another car on Jolly and Balin.
The 19-year-old driver from Lansing was arrested with 4 passengers, 15 to 18. 1 juvenile was transferred, and the 18-year-old jailed for violating bail. Despite the impact, no serious injuries were reported. 2 suspects fled on foot and remain at large. The incident closed with a rapid chain, speed, collisions, discarded guns, and a final crash.
Be advised, suspects may still be armed. Use caution.
On September 29, 2023, Troop G Dispatch received multiple reports, 4 calls in total, about a black motorcycle recklessly speeding westbound on Interstate 30. The rider was clocked at 78 miles per hour, dangerously exceeding the 65 miles per hour speed limit through a busy construction zone. Quickly, I activated my hazard lights and siren to signal the motorcyclist to stop. However, instead of complying, the rider continued westbound before making a sudden and hazardous turn onto an exit ramp, increasing the danger to both themselves and other motorists on the road.
Please, I got a daughter. All right. Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back. I got a daughter. Be careful, okay? I got a daughter who loves her. Get live, man. Come on.
On June 8, 2025, the Florida Highway Patrol in Lee County received multiple reports of a red Ford F-150 being driven erratically on RS-75 near the 123-mile marker. Trooper Montesa soon located the vehicle near mile marker 127 and attempted a traffic stop, but the driver, later identified as 36-year-old Christina Bethany Slitter, refused to comply and accelerated northbound. The chase quickly escalated as the truck sped through Daniels Parkway and 6 Mile Cypress Parkway, reaching speeds over 90 miles per hour in a 50 miles per hour zone. Slitter swerved across lanes, crossed the median, and even drove onto grass shoulders and sidewalks, creating extreme danger for the public.
Right tire lane. Westbound into the neighborhood.
10-4 westbound, right tire. Right tire, go on back.
Troopers made several attempts to end the pursuit using precision immobilization techniques, but each time Slitter managed to regain control and continue fleeing.
Back, westbound on the shoulder. 10-4 westbound on the shoulder. Making another U-turn back eastbound. 400, LTSO says 54 in response. And tell them to get a helicopter up. Good to know they have our back.
Signal 4, signal 4, signal 4. Signal 4, 1050.
Good to know they have our back.
Finally, coordinated patrol units boxed in the F-150, forcing it to a stop. Even then, the suspect exited with a hostile attitude, shouting threats at officers.
Get out of the car! Not going anywhere!
Slitter resisted arrest, attempting to slip out of her handcuffs and throwing objects at troopers before being subdued. She was transported to the Lee County Jail, where she now faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing, DUI, reckless driving, threatening law enforcement, and a seatbelt violation. On November 9th, 2024, officers Ganton and Williams were running an alcohol sobriety checkpoint when an SUV approached. Spotting the checkpoint, the driver hesitated, stopped briefly, then suddenly reversed course and fled the scene. The officers acted swiftly, executing a tactical maneuver that caused the SUV to spin a full 360 degrees. But rather than surrendering, the driver slammed the accelerator and kept escaping. second attempt to stop the vehicle failed as the driver stubbornly refused to give in. Determined to evade the police, he pushed on. Ultimately, the officers skillfully boxed in the SUV, trapping it in a corner. After resisting at first, the driver, identified as Nicholas Koskin, raised his hands in surrender. He was promptly arrested for DUI and reckless driving, then taken into custody at Baxter County Jail. On December 20th, 2022, a silver Nissan sped through Arkansas streets. As soon as the emergency lights came on, the driver accelerated into narrow residential streets, turning quiet neighborhoods into high-speed hazard zones. Speeds increased from 50 to nearly 80 miles per hour as the Nissan sped past stop signs, swerved into the opposite lane, and weaved recklessly through traffic.
Just made a right on Lexus.
I'm in South and I'm just right behind it.
Behind him, Officer Hinton persevered, continuously reporting intersection locations and directions over his radio as the suspect sped toward disaster. The disaster struck near the Hudson intersection when the Nissan took a corner too quickly, crashing into a white sedan, then head-on into a black pickup truck stopped at a red light. The impact crushed the pickup truck and scattered debris across the intersection.
Hey, stop! Stop! Stay in the car!
Even after the crash, the suspect attempted to flee. He jumped out of the damaged Nissan before Officer Hinton could get out and yell at him to stop. When the driver ignored the order, the warning, "I'll shoot you," immediately ended the resistance. The suspect fell to the ground and surrendered, ending the chaotic and reckless chase. On April 18th, 2025, Florida Highway Patrol troopers spotted a white Infiniti traveling more than 130 miles per hour on Interstate 10 in Escambia County. The driver, identified as 23-year-old Isaiah Jamal Corley, refused to stop, triggering a high-speed pursuit. As troopers attempted to contain the vehicle, Corley aggressively maneuvered around two patrol cars and continued his escape. After re-entering Interstate 10, Corley drove onto the shoulder in an attempt to keep escaping. However, a courageous motorist positioned their vehicle in a way that limited his path forward. As Corley desperately tried to force his way back into traffic, he collided with an occupied SUV, bringing the pursuit one step closer to an end. Corley then abandoned the vehicle and took off on foot. A canine was quickly deployed, but in a moment that officers likely didn't expect, the police dog briefly mistook one of its own team members for the suspect and latched onto an officer first. After that unexpected detour, the canine got back on mission, tracked down Corley, and helped bring the chase to a close. A search of the Infiniti uncovered 2 firearms and approximately 6.6 ounces of cannabis. Corley was ultimately taken into custody and faces multiple charges, including fleeing and eluding, hit and run, resisting arrest, drug possession, and traffic violation.
You good? You good? What's up? You got